I studied calligraphy 7 years in Japan, and I still study. So I've been studying for almost 15 years. The more I've worked full-time as an artist, which has been since 2003, the more you realize what's important to you. Mm-hmm. One thing that's important to me is beauty. I want my work to be enticing. Mm-hmm. But I also, especially because I was a journalist and I'm very interested in political issues, large and small, that's also important to me. So I want my work to have a political edginess, not all of it, but some of it. But I don't want to make a political billboard. Yeah? You can't hit people over the head with a message, but I want them to come away from my work thinking about something that perhaps they hadn't thought about before in that way. One of the really special elements of gestural calligraphy, when it works, is authenticity. It's real. Yeah. And that's why when I say I do maybe 30 pieces and maybe 3 or 4 work, and part of what makes them work is they're authentic. I can tell when I make a gesture that if it doesn't work, it's phony. You can see it's forced in some way, and therefore not nearly as interesting if it comes from your heart as well as your head. You know, I usually start my day with doing traditional calligraphy with a brush, you know, and I grind ink and I make the traditional characters. And one day I just thought, I'm going to see what happens if I use the ink stick instead of the brush. And what I'm discovering the more I work as an artist, that on the one hand you have to be disciplined and you have to understand the tradition of whatever you're working in. You have to understand your craft. But if you don't move beyond it and bring whatever it is inside your heart and your soul, then you stop growing and it doesn't work. I mean, it makes me think of, I once saw an exhibit of Van Gogh's work, and there were 2 paintings, one that he had done and one that his doctor had done, who was a pretty good artist technically. Yeah. But Van Gogh's piece was so much more interesting. Why? Because you could see Van Gogh and his wild self showed in the painting, and the doctor's painting was technically good and boring. Creating art is like stepping into air. That I think you want to be open to to some new idea or some new feeling. I mean, I hope that my work continues to have some passion and some intelligence and some edginess.